Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on the crypto markets. And I am afraid we will not be able to cover everything that I want to cover in this video, because there's a lot going on, and there's ultimately like a lot of factors playing in to what's going on right now. So I'll try to give you the best overview you can get from the markets at this point of time. But like I said, there's a lot of things going on, right? So for now, let's get right into it. So I wanted to start off with the fundamentals and some news. Then we'll talk about Bitcoin specifically. We'll talk about Ethereum specifically. We will not talk about XRP in this market update because well, basically the situation for XRP has remained similar for the last like 3 or 4 days, right? So I cannot keep telling you the same, and I don't think that's valuable either. So we will skip XRP in this middle of the day market update. I'll talk about it again tomorrow morning and probably also tomorrow afternoon. But for now, let's talk about the markets. So first of all, what we have seen is that the Russia-Ukraine peace talks have already ended again with just under 1 hour, I think, of negotiations, which has caused a little bit of a pullback in the stock markets. As you can see, this is the 1 hour time frame, so I would say the pullback, you know, it's not that much. It's the pullback we had last week Thursday, or Thursday 2 weeks ago, was even more, and I think this was also kind of in line with what we expected after all the escalations of the last 2 weeks. But for now, I mean, that's obviously not good news. And with the S&P 500 pulling back, gold trying to break out, and the volatility on index also moving up, fundamentally that's not good for Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin itself, whereas this morning I was still relatively positive about it, we have dropped back down below the 30-day rolling VWAP and below that important level at 105,000. Now, that's a previous POC. I'm going to delete that. So Bitcoin, I would say on the lower time frames right here, on the 1 hour time frame, I'd say we are neutral. We have lost that bullish momentum that we created after yesterday, and that was not only because of the news, right? The news that we had only caused a pullback into the support level right here at 103,700. And I think in general it's too early to really have a direction for Bitcoin right now in mind. All right, on the 4 hour time frame, as you all know, we have lost the uptrend already last week Wednesday. So far we have respected that, but I have to say, like, if you take a look at the price action over the course of the last 24 hours, for example, excluding the last 6 hours, so basically the price action from Sunday to Monday, if you take that into account, but also the reaction we're getting right now from Bitcoin after the news, I think there's things to be positive about as well. So then it becomes very difficult for me to have a particular bias. Bitcoin dominance, by the way, has also dropped down a bit. Some altcoins are actually trading up trading up higher here. But no, I'm waiting personally for some extreme levels, right? So for me, the extreme levels for Bitcoin are either 107,000, that's the main resistance level, I would argue, at this point of time. And to the downside, it's 102,500. And right now, we're kind of in the middle of that range with both positive indications about the price and negative indications about the price. And I don't think one or the other is winning right now. Now, given the news and given the price action we've seen since last week Wednesday, I have a slight bearish bias, today at least, right? Because we also know that Monday usually for Bitcoin is not a great day. So you know, if I have to give you a prediction, I would be slightly bearish on Bitcoin here. I would say it's most likely we will stay in the stability, but when we're talking about a bigger move, I would say that's a move downwards. That's in line with the fundamentals. That's in line with the price action over the last week, even though the price action over the last couple of days has been a little bit more neutral, so a little bit more bullish compared to Wednesday, Thursday last week. But I would say something like this is most likely, but I'm not trading Bitcoin at this point of time. I'm waiting for those extreme levels, like I said, to get an entry back in. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. For Ethereum, it is slightly more straightforward. Ethereum is actually holding on fairly well, right? It's within the range, so there's no clear trade to take right now. But with Ethereum, I'm a little bit more certain that, yeah, I mean, we might pull back here, but that we will be able to hold the range support, the balanced support we've held since the 19th of March. and that from there we can also get a strong reaction and at least get back up to 2550. So Ethereum actually looks quite stable, which is a good thing. Obviously Ethereum did not rally up together with Bitcoin during this move right here, the 21st of May, but it has made up that to a certain extent in remaining stable during these circumstances. So that's good to see. Now, lastly, wanted to talk about altcoins. Now, like I said, altcoins in general are very correlated to Bitcoin. So keep that in mind, all right? Bitcoin is very reactive to the news at this point of time. So altcoins are in general going to move together with Bitcoin, and then there will always be altcoins that are uncorrelated to Bitcoin and that can actually move without it. At this point of time, the strongest altcoins are Athena and Aave protocol, but they are still correlated, right? So they are the strongest altcoins in the last, well, what is it? In the last 1.5 hours, but they are still uncorrelated. When we're talking about some coins that are less correlated or potentially uncorrelated, it's a very short list. Syrup, I would say, I've called Syrup in these altcoin updates very, very often, but Syrup actually looks quite interesting here. Outside of that, it is a very, very small list, and I'll have to go through my list right here. I think Babylon has some potential, right? So that's Baby, that's the ticker, has some potential if we're able to reclaim 7 cents, for example. That was something I'm looking at. I think Quant still has potential if we retest the trend and we get a good reaction from that. And then lastly, I still think Soon has some potential. But these are all, except for Quant potentially, all very difficult altcoins to trade. So keep that in mind. But those are my thoughts on the market right now. The fundamentals, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some specific altcoins. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.